Welcome back. Welcome back to our time of listening. Do not be afraid, we was told. God is with us. Jesus, Emmanuel. And the story continues, and it continues from one of the books in the Bible called Luke. And in the story, we had at the moment where Mary had met the angel and she told Mary she was going to have a baby. And we pick up the journey in the story now as they was making their way to a place called Bethlehem. What had happened, there was a census where everybody had to return to their town where they was born so that they could be registered. So Mary and Joseph made their way back. And one of the things Mary was travelling on was an animal that we are really well aware of. And an animal noise that sometimes you like most probably to make the noise of, a donkey. Goes the donkey. But the donkey was a chosen animal by God. And the animal of the donkey was to carry Mary. Carry Mary and her precious gift that was growing inside her. So Mary and Joseph, if you remember what we said about Joseph, he was a carpenter, he made many things out of wood. They made their way to a place called Bethlehem to record their birth, where they was born themselves. Bethlehem, a town of David, it's sometimes also called. And on the way, Mary was starting to see and ask that question that many parents or people, grown-ups hear from children when they say, going somewhere exciting, are we there yet? And Mary said the same, didn't she? Are we there yet? Are they there? So I'm going to go back to the book again, and we can see Mary on a donkey. And Mary's on the donkey as they travelled. And as Mary's on the donkey, we can also see Joseph walking beside her. The donkey was carrying this precious load. Emmanuel, God is with us. Mary was right near to the time of giving birth, and they arrived in a place called Bethlehem. Now Bethlehem, because loads of people were signing in, was absolutely jam-packed, really busy. No room to move, nowhere to stay. And we can see the people there, all queuing, knocking on the door, all asking if there's room. And Mary and Joseph was travelling around the inns, knocking on the doors to see if they could have a room. And there was no rooms to vacant. But because Mary was looking tired, she'd been travelling a long journey. Although she was sitting on the donkey, it was very tiring for her because she was about to have a baby. So they knocked on the door and the innkeeper looked worried for her. And because he looked worried for her, he decided to let her stay in his stable. So we can imagine, can't we, a lot of animals in the stables, a lot of cows, maybe sheep. But Mary was about to give birth. So they took and used the stable. So you can picture that picture of the stable. And if you think in your minds, do you remember when you look at that crib scene, when you look at a nativity, how they talk about the stable, how they talk about the baby being born, the baby to be born to Mary, God's promise, God's gift to her, Emmanuel, Jesus. Do not be afraid, God said. Do not be afraid. I am with you. And that's for us as well. We're not to be afraid, but we are in God's presence. God is with us at all times. So a great message there, a great message. Do not be afraid in these strange times. So let's say a prayer. Gracious God, we thank you for being with us and knowing that you're with us at all times. Help us to celebrate Jesus this Christmas time. Amen. Great to be with you today again. I'm going to leave you now, and we're going to have another story. And who is going to arrive? Can you think who may arrive to see Jesus? Have a think about that.